Hallo Klickenabendler, wir sind bei Indie Boards and Cards. Next to me is Travis. Hi Travis.
Hello, good to see you again.
Now you are a big company?
Yes, Indie Boards and Cards and Stronghold Games came together a couple months ago, and we're twice as big, I guess, as we were last year.
And now you've got brands for the different kind of games, right? Indie Boards and Cards for the cardboard stuff, actual games, no.
Action Phase, yeah.
Action Phase for the.
Action Phase has always been kind of a little bit quirky games, unique, but we've co-branded a lot of the titles like Aeon's End and Kodama are co-branded Indie Boards and Cards and Action Phase.
And Stronghold then for the big block games,
yeah,
Eurogame style.
Yeah, Stronghold games done a lot of licensed games from Europe, a lot of the heavier weight games as well. So, and we'll continue with the three different brands moving forward.
All right, we will see Stephen, I think, tomorrow. So now we have a look at the new games in the small box format.
Yeah, so I think we'll start with Exodus because I haven't opened all the other boxes, so we might need to pause between. But this is a new game, actually a Gen Con release. It's a Exodus Paris Nouveau. It's a Martin Wallace deduction game, so Martin Wallace isn't known for deduction games, but he came to us about 2 years ago with this game. We did a little development with them, and it's quite interesting. So like many games we have, beginning of the game you will get a secret identity. And we're all escaping from Paris Nouveau, which ties into the dystopian universe role-playing game that came out this year as well. Which is set in a Paris kind of dystopian future of Paris.
But it's not by any of your companies, the role-playing game?
No, it's we license it out.
Okay.
So Evil Hat does that role-playing game. We don't produce role-playing games. So the idea is you're escaping from the city, you're running away from the evil government, but as normal there's spies that have infiltrated your ranks. So the hunters are the people that are hunting the people that are escaping, and the rescuers are obviously the people you're helping. Beginning of the game you'll get a secret identity, so you'll either be a hunter or a rescuer. In this game the teams are usually balanced depending on the player count. 2 and 6 player they're balanced. 5 players it actually could be more hunters than rescuers or more rescuers than hunters, depending on the game. Everyone will have voting tokens. So, and the reason is every round you'll select a leader, and then the leader will select the tail end Charlie. And then the leader, everyone will have 2 cards in their hand. They will submit 1 card without showing it, and they'll tell the leader something about the card or why they should pick that card. And then the leader will choose 3 or choose the number of players -1, I think, of the cards, and will then select.
Reveal the cards?
They'll choose them all, and then they'll take 1 random. They'll shuffle and then discard. So you don't know exactly which was the random card, or if someone said they submitted a good card, if it was included or not. So that's the basic premise. Then the leader will look at all the cards and will play 1 of them. So in this case, it's a pretty good card. It means we've ran very far, but we have lost a cover. And we'll start the game with a certain amount of cover tokens, and if we lose all the cover tokens, the rescuers lose.
All right.
So losing cover is a bad thing. The other bad things that could happen are you could take damage. If you take 2 damage, you're out of the game and your team loses. But sometimes if you may want to kill the other players on the other team, so you win.
Of course.
So the hunters want to kill the rescuers.
All right.
And then, so you play that card up here on the rescuers, and then Tail End Charlie will just take 2 cards from the deck, and they play 1. So they may be forced to play a card that's not so good for them. So in this case, maybe they would play probably this card of the 2. So the hunters are catching up to the rescuers. So the first one is how far do you go? The second one is how much victory points. So here the hunters have 2 victory points and the rescuers have none. But there's no cover loss and there's no damage. So that's it's not such a great card, but it's not really bad. But we don't know if that person is on the hunter's team or the rescuer's team, and it goes on. So the game goes on that way for 7 rounds. At any time, the rescuers start with a 5 distance advantage. At any time, if the hunters catch them, the game is over and the hunters win. If at any time you lose all the 5 distance tokens that you begin with at the beginning of the game, the hunters win, the rescuers lose. We've already talked about if any time that someone dies, the team that they die on, that team loses. And then if you play all 7 cards, you count the number of victory people.
Farther away?
You have to stay always farther away, but then you count the victory points. If it's a tie, you play another round. The other thing we didn't talk about at the beginning of each round, you vote on the leader. Blind bidding. As you reveal your bids, you vote how many of your tokens go to which one. So that determines the leader. But the game is like many of our games, is all based on the discussion around the game. So
because it's okay if I tell him, all right, I think he's one of them. Don't help him. Don't.
Yeah,
get his
and
card.
because the teams are balanced, the conversations can kind of go both ways. Because in a lot of our games, you're pretending, oh, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. But in this game, you're really trying to find your teammate because the teammates don't know each other. So sometimes we have people actually say, oh, I'm bad, to try to get the bad person to be on their team. And then sometimes people have faked being bad, and they're actually good to convince the other bad person to vote for them and make them the leader. So it's a little bit, it's not quite as clear in the resistance. You're, oh, I'm good, I'm good, you're a spy. In this game, a little bit more fluid in the conversations and how you describe and look up for other teams.
All right, so a new game in your group game
the dystopian
family.
Universe.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's quite fun. I like it. It plays 4 players, which for this genre of game is a little bit unique.
Do you know if there will be a German version next year, perhaps?
We don't. Not currently. We don't have any.
All right.
Any plans for that.
Okay. So thanks for the explanation of the game. Let's have a look at the other games.
Okay.